with the technology. Okay, let's go back. Here we go. Okay, last question. How do we solidify our commitment to building New Africa today? So we started off with the first question. Do we see it as a concept or a physical place to be together? And then we went on to discuss, well, what do you see in New Africa? For whichever format you see New Africa in. And now we're saying, if we want to establish this model community, then what do we do, or how do we solidify our commitment to building it? And that can be building it physically, or that can be sort of how we're piecing together components of our community to present a picture of New Africa. But how do we solidify our commitment to it, right? Because if we're saying that we're charged with establishing model community off of the example of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then how do we make it happen? How do we commit to it? What do we do to show our commitment to it? And so I do see some people sharing on the Slido some responses, and I also take responses in the room if you have them, but I'm going to read the ones that are coming in on the Slido. Set attainable goals and complete them. I love that. I'm a data person, so I'm like, let's make the goal and then let's go back and see if we reached it and what were the objectives to get us to the goal. So I love that one. Support Muslim institutions. Absolutely. Participation. That sounds simple, but sometimes it's as simple as participation. Sometimes we don't know that all of those resources that we shared and all of those institutions and projects and initiatives, sometimes we don't know that they exist. Or we know that they exist and we don't really engage them. And so we do, some self-reflection and see, well, what can I do? How can I do more? How can I perhaps get a child to Camp Khalil next summer? All of those types of things. What do we do to establish a school in our community? Perhaps we don't have the capacity for full-time right now, but what do we do to establish weekend? Okay, let's see. Strong. Buy land to start. Good point. And invest. So those are some of the things that are coming in online. Dr. Kadir, I saw your hand.
Yes, I think these ideas are excellent. The one that comes to my mind is the example that we have of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because we know in his history that the narration tells us that he was a shepherd tending the animals, and angels came down and opened his chest and purified his heart, cleaned his heart, and put it back. And that was upsetting to the people around him. But the thing that's interesting in that story, that this happened before he started his mission. This happened before Islam was established. This happened before any of the structures that we hold so important in our lives became a reality. So that suggests to me that the first thing that brings us together, the thing that makes the difference, all the things that happen, is we first have to have our hearts right. Because we live in a society where we have dirty hearts, corrupt people, greedy people. So if we have a good heart, and we connect with other people with a good heart, then we want to support one another, and the structures will come develop.
Absolutely. And so what I hear Imam Kadir saying is that, the way that we solidify our commitment is by making sure that our hearts are clean, right? And I also heard in that the intention. I don't think he said that word, but I heard it in what he was saying, right? There's an intentionality about doing that, right? I want to make sure that the children in my charge are developing upright. And so my commitment to that is engaging them with these institutions. I want to be more intentional about how I conduct business or where I conduct business. So I'm going to seek out businesses that support, the ideology that I ascribe to. Sister, you had a question or a statement?
I just wanted to add outreach is
Outreach
is extremely important.
Absolutely.
Sometimes crossing crossing community lines, not to tell them our business, but to learn how, maybe how they conduct businesses, because there's so many different communities that are well established that kind of keep it within their community. So
Right.
how do they do this? You know,
Right.
what structure, what did you do?
Right.
But not to tell them what we have going on.
Right.
Or
Yeah, when one time we ain't got it.
Yeah.
No, but that is very important, right? When you don't have a thing, right? When you don't know a thing, you ask questions. When you don't have a thing, you go seek it out, right? And so this is no less than that, right? And so and I hear the sister saying, be strategic about how we do that as well. I saw a hand in the back. Yes.
I look at trusting and trusted.
Okay. Trusting and trusted.
And
Got it.
trusting in the process. Because it's important that you're going to do something. You have to trust that's going to be done and trust that person or persons or groups going to get it done. And without always having, well, you can't trust that person to do it. So I remember that he or she did this before. That might be before. And they said, allow always forgive us when we've done before. So we're going to have to be merciful and grateful to each other and get the process done. Because we have a problem in trusting the process.
Yes.
You know, we want it done instantly. When it didn't happen, it don't happen instantly. It takes time
Right.
to do things together.
Wonderful. So yeah, trusting in the process, and then be trusting, right, and being trustworthy, and that takes us back to what Imam Kadir was saying about, having that heart that is pure, and always sort of reverting ourselves back to that being the goal, so that we don't lose focus.
Lastly, we appreciate inviting us here to share our insights and our experience with you all. We look forward to continue to build with our Imam here and see wherever you are, this model community come to life. In our last minute research, I came across this quote. I'm actually going to build out more of it, but it's called Global Muslim Life. It's an online platform. But they said something that just tied into what we're talking about today. It said, there will be no true Muslim ummah in the Americas until anti-black racism among Arab and broader Muslim communities is confronted, named, and dismantled. So while we're working on ourselves, Allah has blessed us to purify our hearts, and we are rising in those ascension levels, being a model human being, we have to be willing to confront others in our faith, to not challenge them all the time, but just to give them a friendly reminder, because a reminder benefits the believer, inshallah.
And so whether you see New Africa as a physical place or this conceptual thing, I feel like I need to frame it some other way, but that's all that's coming out right now. In either case, right, engage the resources that currently exist in our community as we build out, because that's what's going to get to us to the next level, and that's what's going to sustain us, and that's what's going to have us get stronger, right? We all, I'm making an assumption here, but I've been to several communities at this point in our association. We all have, this age gap where we don't see a lot of young adults in the space. And some of that has to do with the influences, right, that are sort of pulling them in other directions. But other parts of that have to do with, what we did or did not do to cultivate them. And that's not necessarily something to make us feel bad, but it is something for us to go back and look at and see what we can do better, so that we are a sustainable community.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.